Good evening, everyone. This is BremSter, and having spent most of this weekend still struggling with health issues, I'm hoping to use some of this game in order to be able to continue relaxing. Now, I know it's starting to get into the harder puzzles, and these are ones that I'm still not very familiar with, and there's been a few comments on some of these streams indicating that people aren't very happy with how much I'm not understanding these puzzles, but I'm going to continue to try and do the best that I can. So I've got some, there's a 2 difficulty here I can do. Let's have a look at this. So mingle shape, which is neighboring shapes regions must be in different shapes and one of each color in each region. So red must come out. And I can't pick up another red, so it must be blue, and that's it. So that region is done. Now, red must come out, and I can't touch a straight piece, so it must come here to get the yellow. Now, this can't touch a straight or... this can't, right, so this can't... yeah, this couldn't do this, because then that would be the same shape as this. So red must come out. Yeah, so this red... and it now, if it came down, it would be dead-ended, and that would be a problem as well. So this must come out. But what we're getting here is this piece, and then I can't pick up another blue. It must continue to come out. Now, that's its requirement, but it must get a yellow from somewhere. But this piece now must do this because it can't be the same shape as that. Now, this kind of has to get its yellow from here because this must come up. And if it was to do this, this could come up and do anything else. It wouldn't be correct. So that must do that. Now, this could be a straight piece, and then that completes everything. Yeah, that makes sense. There's a 2 here. Okay, so every shape must be one of, the region must be one of those 2 shapes. Well, that's a straight, so this has to be a 2. So this has to be a 1. So this has to be a 2. This has to be a 1. This has to be a 1. So this is part of a 2. Now, does this indicate that it's touching here? Like, does this have to be a 1? Or does the thick border prevent it? And I'm not sure about that, but I'm going to say that has to be a 1. No, because touching at a point is fine. But... and now we're up to counting cells. This has to be part of a 2, but it could go in any direction. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got 2 of each? Probably 3 of each? 3 of each, probably. This is part of a 2 region. If we went up, these would both be 1s. This would be a 2, and we couldn't do it. So the 2 can't go this way. Otherwise... these are both 1s. Yeah, if this was a 2 region, these would both have to be 1s and we can't do it. If this is a 2 region, these are both 1s and we can't do it. That's a 2 region and those are both 1s. Now this is a 2 region, but if it went this way, this would have to be another 1. So this goes down, this is a 1 and this is the 2 region. There's the logic for that. We've got 2 pieces and L pieces, and again mingle shape. So this must come out. Now, if this stopped, I could L here and L here, but if this L's, I could 2 piece here and 2 piece here, and then this could L. I don't think, oh no, we've got a 2 piece here. Sorry, I missed that this was actually a piece. So this must be part of an L piece. And this must be part of an... both of these are part of an L piece. Which can't... so, yeah, which must be the same L piece. Otherwise, they're touching. So it must do that, because they have to be part of the same L piece. Because if they weren't part of the same L piece, the 2 L pieces are touching. These are part of the same L piece, and therefore that is true. This now must be part of a 2 piece. And if it didn't go down, then this would be isolated. This is now an L piece. This is a 2 piece. This is an L piece. This is a 2 piece. This has to be a 2 piece, making that an L piece, making that a 2 piece, and that an L piece. Yeah, that's really nice logic. I like that one. There is a 2 hiding there. That's a 1. That's a 1. That's a 1. Now this is at least a 2. I can't put 1s in any of these. So this must come out, this must come out, this must come out, and this must come out. But these can't be the same shape. And one of these has to grow. Let's make this a different color. But this must come out and this must come out. Oh, both of those have to grow and connect up, and that's the 1, because otherwise one of those would be in either 1s touching an L or anything. That's another really cool one. Let's look at this 3. Neighboring regions must have different shapes. So these can't be made up of those, otherwise they're not different shapes. Now, I get the feeling that's going to be a 4, because then I'm just completely unlimited to having anything here. Now, if this was a 1, I could put a 2 here, but then this would have to be a 2. So I can't do 2 and 2. So all of these are 3 and 1. And I can't do the 3 here, because if I did the 3 here, one of these 2 cells would have to be part of the 3, which is touching. So that doesn't work. So the 3 must be here, and this is the 1, which means the 3 here, and this is the 1. Then this is the 1, and this is the 3, and that's a 4. I'm trying to explain the logic that I'm finding. Oh dear. Now this is part of a 3 region, but it can't touch that. So that's forced. Now this must come out, but it comes out and then either goes up, or it could go up 2 or across and up 1. I'm not sure which. Now there's a border in here, there's a border in here, there's a border in here, and there's a border in here. How does that help me? They have to be different shapes. Where does this one go? This must either go up and bend or go down and bend. But because it can't go into this cell, and it can't go down and bend, or these would be touching. That to me seems forced. Is there any other way of doing that? Yeah, this shape can't go down. So it must go up because it can't go this way, and then it must bend. That's fine. And this, where's the 3 piece of this now? There must be a 3 long on this piece, and it must be there, because I can't put the 3 long vertical, so it has to be horizontal. And if it was here, this would be part of a 2 piece. So that means this must do that. And that's a 2, no, that, well, it could, hang on, doesn't that make this non-unique? So I'm thinking that's wrong. Because now this puzzle doesn't have a unique solution. No, it doesn't. That must be a 2 piece, because if it was 2 1s, there'd be 2 1s touching each other. BremSter's starting to learn. Now, this piece can't go down, or I'd have 2 pieces of the same touching each other. So this can't enter that cell. It must come out and then go down. This must come out, but it can't enter here, because that's a T piece, and it can't go into here because then it would be a T piece, and if it came into here, it would have to go down, and then this piece wouldn't match. So we must have a 2 and a 1. BremSter's starting to understand? Maybe? Okay, so where's the 3 piece for this? This piece here, let's mark it yellow, must have a 3 length. It must come down. Oh no, it could do this. So it's either here, here, or here. I don't think it could be here. If it was here, this piece, oh no, it could do that. No, it couldn't do that. Where would this piece go? No, it could do that. Sorry, it could do that. Then this could do that, and then this could do that. No, this is all complete nonsense. So where does this get its 3 lengths? Maybe that's not what I'm looking at here. Ah, no. It's the same logic as before. This can't go this way, or those two would be touching. So there's a border here. This must come down and then turn either left or right. But it can't turn this way because then those 2 pieces would be touching. That is the piece. Now, where does this piece get its 3 lengths? I can't do, yeah, where does this piece get its 3 lengths? I can't do here, those would be touching. I can't do here, this would be a T piece, so the only place I could do it is there. So this is a 1, this is a 1. This can't go up now, it would be touching, so it must do that. This can't be 2 1s, it must be a 2. This can't go this way anymore, so it must come out. And if it went up, there's nowhere for me to put that. I must do that, and I'm now broken. Damn! This is wrong. So where did I go wrong? So I made a logical error somewhere. And I thought I was good. Thought I was good up to here. It's saying everything so far is correct. But this has to come out. And it must go down. It must turn. So that's forced. Man, I am not good at these puzzles. This can't go this direction or this direction, or those would be touching, and it can't go this direction, so it must come down. It can't go this way because it would be touching those. That is forced. This piece, where does it get its 3 lengths now? I can't come down. That must be forced. Now this can only do that. Ah, I made an error up here. This can only do this, and now this can't come this way, so it must come out, and it can't go, could go up 2. But this can't go this way, or up. So this comes out. Let's change the color of that, and then it must turn, so that's forced. And then that must do that. And where does this get its 3 lengths? The only place to get it is there. That's really clever. I made some mistakes up here. I tried to force this shape when I shouldn't have. I tried to turn around and say, what could this be? And what I should have been focusing on are where do the pieces that I have to place go, not just try and fill gaps. I've got to be more careful about that. So this is a single and this is a single. So I can mark those in. Now, this double can't go up and it can't go left. So it goes in one of those 2 directions. But if it went this way, this would be a single. So that must go down. This can't be a single, so it must come out and it touches a T piece, which must now go up or down. But if this went up, it would leave an orphan. That must go down. Now this now must be a single because, well, hang on. What's going to happen? No, this can't go down. And it can't go left because it'd be touching another elbow. So it must go up. Now this is a single, but what's this? It can't be a single, so it must go up. This must bend now, so that's locked in. This 2-piece can't go down and it can't go right because it'd be touching this blue one, so it goes up finishing that. So now I've got all the pieces locked in. I just need to figure out how to finish it. This must go up because it can't be a single. It can't be a double, so it must continue. But how is this unique? I've met the requirements of the puzzle here. Because I've got it, I didn't even realize I was working with a shape bank. So this must bend. This must be a 2. I didn't even realize I was working with a shape bank. That was dumb. With a shape bank, this is unique. Otherwise, I was thinking I could just fill this with whatever shapes I want. No, I've got a shape bank to work with. This can't be a... Well, this can't be a 2. So this can't be a 2, but it could be a 1, and then what would this be? If this was a 1, this would have to be another 1 or a 2 because it couldn't bend. So this must bend. Now this can't be a bend. So I'm filling these with 1s and 2s only, but that's a 1. There you go. That's a really nice one. I know no one in chat agrees, but that's okay. 4, 4, 4, 6. Okay, well, let's do this 2 and see what happens. So this must come out and that must end it because I'm only working with these shapes and I've only got 2x2s and 3x2s. Now this can't be part of a 2x1 and I can't fit a 3x2 anywhere. So that's part of a 2x2. Now this piece must be part of a 3x2. So that must at least be a 2x2. It can't go that way, it can't go that way, but it must go in one of the other directions. But I don't know which. Now this can't be part of a 2x2 or a 3x2. So this is part of a 2x1. So let's make it green. In fact, let's make this one blue. This is a green, it's a 2x1. This here is part of a 2x2 now because this is a 3x2 and this is a 1x2. So that is a 2x2. And this is a 2x1. Because it's the only thing I could fit in there. If this went no, this can't go across. If this went across, the only thing I could fit in there would be another 2x1 and they'd be touching. This must go up. And this can't be a 2x2 or a 2x1. So this is a 3x2, which must take that. This is now another 2x1. This can't be, this now must be a 2x2. So that is the 2x2 and we're not broken. This is a 3x2 and that means that this must take that. Oh, this is nice. This now has to be a 2x1. And both of those, well, no, that square couldn't be. So the 2x1 could go here, but then this would have to be another 2x1. So if the 2x1 went this way, this cell must be a 2x1 because it touches both of the others. If it went that way, this couldn't be anything. So it must take those two. This is a 2x1 that can't go across because it touches the other two. This must be a 2x2 because it touches the other two, and that's the only way to fill it. This must be a 3x2. It touches the other two, and the only way to fill it is that. Let's make it blue. This is now a 2x1. If I went across, there'd be nothing I could put in those two cells. It goes up. This is now a 2x2 because it touches the others. This can't be a 2x2. Therefore, or that is part of a 3x2 taking those, and that is stunning. These puzzles are really good. And I hope people appreciate how I'm trying to explain what I'm doing while learning. There's another 2. Okay. This can't be part of a plus. Yeah, this can't be part of a plus. This could only be part of a plus that did that, which would leave that cell isolated. This could only be part of a plus that does that. So that must be that. Because the only way I could put this into a plus shape would be that, which leaves an isolated cell. The only way I could put this into a plus shape is that, which leaves an isolated shape. So all 3 of those have to be, part of an elbow, which means that's an elbow. Now, both of these are part of a plus shape. The only way I can make this part of a plus shape is to go up. If I went across, that wouldn't be a complete plus. So that is part of the same plus shape, which means that's the plus shape. Now these, that must be part of an elbow and come out an elbow. This can only be part of an elbow. Oh, no, hang on. No, this can only be part of an elbow. This can only be part of an elbow. And this can only be part of an elbow. So they're the same. And it's the same logic as down here. So those are an elbow. And now this must be part of a plus, which can only do that. Now this has to be part of an elbow, which can only do that. This must be part of a plus shape, which can only do that, meaning this is an elbow. This is an elbow. These must be part of a plus shape that can only do that. And this becomes the blue elbow. Now, there were possibly I could have started this over here and got the same logic, but I'm terrified of these sixes. Is there a hidden box in there? In here? I don't know. Let's try the 4. So this is a 2. This is a 3. So this can't be a 2 or... Okay, let's give these their own colors. This can't be part of a 2 by 1. And this can't be part of a 2 by 2. So, sorry, this can't be part of a 2 by 1. This can't be part of a 3 by 1. The question is... Well, this has to be part of a 2 by 1. Because I can't put a 2 by 2 or a 3 by 1 in here. So that's that. The thing that makes me wonder about this just being a 2 by 2 is, could I do that? And I can't see immediately why not. Now, this cell here can't be part of a 2 by 1 or a 3 by 1. So this is part of a 2 by 2, which must do that. This now must be part of a 3 by 1. This cell here must be part of a 2 by 1. But if I did that, that could be a 3 by 1. So I don't have the same restriction. This must be part of a 2 by 1. No. It's clear. It is very, very clear. If this was a 2 by 1 and this was a 3 by 1, that cell would need to be part of a 2 by 2, and it's not possible. So this must be a 2 by 2. And this cell is now part of a 2 by 2, 2 by 1. So that must go across and that must come up. Otherwise they would touch. If that went up, it would touch that one. If that went across, it would touch that one. Now this must be part of a 3 by 1 because it has to come out. It can't be part of a 2 and it can't be part of a 2 by 1. That's a 3 by 1. This cell now must be part of a 2 by 2 because it touches the others. That goes in. If that was a 3 by 1, we're good. Or we could do a 2 here and start a 3 here. No, we can't. If this was a 2 by 1, then this would have to be a 3 by 1, and then this cell touches all 3. It doesn't work. This must be a 3 by 1. This must be a 3 by 1 now that can't go up. It must go across. And that is now forcing this to go up. Because if this blue went across, what could I put here? It couldn't be a 3 by 1 or a 2 by 1. This must go up. This now has to be part of a 2 by 2 because it touches the others. That's a 2 by 2. This now has to be part of a 2 by 1. No, wrong color. 2 by 1. And if it went up, I could put a 3 by 1 in here maybe. No, because if this went up and was a 2 by 1, this would be a 3 by 1, and that would have to be a something by 1, which doesn't exist. The 2 by 1 must go that way. These cells, well, this now must be a 2 by 2. Yeah, if I put a 3x1 in here, which would have to go that way, I'd put a 2 in here, and then this would have no fill. So this must be, to show that again, if this is a 3x1, the only thing I could put in here is a 2x1, which would be blue, but whatever. But what would this cell be? It'd have no fill. So this must be part of a 2x2. Now this must be part of a 2x1. If I went that way, there's no way to fill all of those cells. We get a blue and we get a yellow, but I selected the wrong color. That's another really clever puzzle. And I hope I'm explaining the logic well enough. No one's commenting, so I'm hoping chat's not broken. Shape bank. This must come out. This must come out. This must come out. This must come out. This can't L. If this was to L, no, I could pretend, no, this can't L. If this was to L, it would have to do that, and then the only thing that could fit in here would be an L, and it'd have two L's touching, or that, and that would leave an orphan cell. So this is not an L, therefore it must bend and do that. Hey, Thomas. So this is now part of an L, and if I did that, this is orphaned. If I did that, this is orphaned. So the L must do that. Therefore, this is part of a blue, and the only way I can fit the blue in is like that, because I have to come in and turn, and then I must immediately turn again to fit the shape requirement. Now, this is part of an L, and it must be the elbow. So both of those are in it. Now, the question is, do I go up or do I go up or do I go right? I'm not sure about that. Yes, I am. If I went this way, what would this cell be? It couldn't be a blue or a yellow. This must go up. Both of those are part of an L. And they have to be part of the same L. And it can't do that because that would leave those isolated. It can't do that, can it? No, because then all three of those would have to be part of the same blue, which would do this, leaving an orphan cell. So it must do that. Now, these must all be part of a blue. But once these two are part of a blue, it must turn and go up and then continue. And I can't do it off the grid. So that must be the blue. So that must be the blue, meaning these are all an L because they can't be blue, they're touching, which means these are the blue, and that works. Excellent. Now, these are both blue, but this has to come out and then turn again, and let's fix the color here. There's a 4 hidden in the chapel or whatever it is. Oh dear. Okay, I don't know how to start this one. I get the feeling it's this. But this must be a different yellow because there's no way of making those touch. Like I can't make them part of the same yellow. There's no way I could draw those so that they're part of the same yellow. So they can't be the same piece, but therefore they can't touch. Now, one of these two pieces has to come into here. If the green comes into here, then that's the green. And that's broken. if the green comes into here, that's the little divot, and therefore those would all be green. But how do I draw this T-piece now? The only way to draw this T-piece would be that, which leaves orphan cells, that, which leaves orphan cells, because I don't have a 3 straight, or that, which leaves those, and there's no way to fill those with the shapes I've got. So green can't come down. Blue has to come into here. And therefore, by the shape of blue, once I've got a single piece, it's a single going into a 2x2 with a protrusion up. So that must be blue. But that's broken. So I've missed an option. This is where BremSter being bad is bad. That's blue, that's green, that's yellow. So how can green work if that's green? That would force that to be green. How else could I fit green in there? Green would have to come into a 2x2, and that's the only way I could draw it. So how could... no. No, I do have another option. Okay, so I want a better logical proof than this. I have seen a way out of this dilemma of that being green. Because if we made this blue, it did obviously break. So I need to find a way of proving that apart from the long chain. Is it, if this is blue, we're broken? Because if this is blue, we end up with that. And now there's nowhere to put green. I think that's the proof. This has to be blue or green, but if this is blue, it's a single coming into a 2x2, and that forces that to be the shape. And now there's nowhere to complete green. There's just no way of doing it, because this is a single which would have to come into a 2x2, and I'm touching yellow. So this must be green, and the only way to do green is that. So now the question comes, how do I make this yellow work? Because I can't come into this cell, they'd be touching. I can't come into this cell, or I'd orphan this. I can't come into this cell, because then it would be this shape, and I'd orphan this. So the only way I can see of doing it is that. The other way of looking at this is once this is yellow and this is green, this has to be blue. And therefore, that's the blue shape. And that makes yellow much more clear. But the other, then this is a blue shape, which must come up into a 2x2 and go that way. But this comes into a 2x2 and goes that way. This forces yellow to do this because it can't go up. And then this green must do that. This now must be a blue, and it can't come down. So it must come this way into a 2x2 shape. But if the 2x2 is here, I'd have to include this. So this is the 2x2, including that. What? And this is a green shape. I was thinking, what can I use to fill that? That's just a green shape. So we're all good. This now must be part of a yellow, but this is part of a blue. And yellow must come up. This is the only thing that can take yellow, and that completes the T-piece. This is either blue or green. If this is green, then this would, the only way I could complete green, I couldn't do that, that would leave an orphan. So I'd have to do that, which doesn't allow me to complete blue, or that, which doesn't allow me to complete blue. This can't be green. This must be part of blue, which means blue now looks like that. Because once this has to be blue, this is part of the 2x2. Because that's neither of the protrusions. So that's the 2x2, and that's the only way to complete it. Because I've run out of options on the other directions. So yeah, okay. Oh no, that doesn't work. Ah, no, there is another way. Yeah, blue can't come this far. So this can't be part of a 3 length. The 3 must go up. And then that is blue. Ah, this is very clever. And now, I'm getting there. This is yellow, which must come out. And now it must form a T-piece. So that is yellow. This is green, and this is green. So green, oh, this green could come down and this green could go up. Yeah, that seems forced now. Yeah, I think this is now forced. This is really good. I'm enjoying this game so much. Okay. This could be part of the same region. There is a boundary there because these are different shapes. But they could be part of the same region. What's the logic to get this started? Hydrate better. They must be part of the same region. Otherwise, they'd be 2 regions touching. Any 2 shapes that are directly touching each other are part of the same region. That was incredibly obvious, which means it must do that. That's the only way to fit that shape in. And now, this must come out. If it was to go straight down, if this was to do that, then it would be touching this region of the same shape. So it's that. Now, this region can't go this way or it'd be touching. So it's that. This can't be 2. Let's not worry about that though. This can't go up. It can't go right, because then it'd be touching this other green region. Where does this go? This can't do that because then this has nowhere to go. So this can't be the 3 length for it. So that has to be the 3 length for it, and that has to be that T-piece. Now this T-piece can't go in either of those directions. It must come out here, which means that has to be its shape. There's no other way of drawing that in. Now this must be a horizontal 4-piece. And if I was to draw that horizontal 4-piece there, that could work. But what happens if I join them up? No, I can't join them up. If I join them up, this green can't complete because there's nowhere I could hook down. Yeah, the 3 length on this green now must go that way because I can't go down because of this blue. So that's that green. Now this is that 4. This 4 must incorporate those, and that's locked in by the fact that this is the only place I could put that, and the orange goes up. So that's locked in, that's locked in, that's locked in. Wow. Let's try this 5. That's a 1, that's a 1. So this must be a 2. Let's make the 2 blue. That must be a 2. So this must be part of a 3 by 2. Let's make that yellow. So it must be part of at least a 2 by 2, which means this can only be a 1. And this, because the 3 by 2 can't come into this cell, this must be part of a 2 by 1. Now, do I have the same problem here that I had before? If this was a 1 and this was a 2 by 1, this would, yeah, if this was a 1 and this was part of a 2 by 1, then what's this cell? It'd have to be part of a 3 by 2 and those two would touch each other. That doesn't work. So this is part of a 3 by 2, which means this now has to go up. This has to be a 1. Hey, Eric. This is now part of a 2 by 1. This is part of a 2 by 1. This is part of a 2 by 1. But if I went that way, this cell would have no fill. That's the 2 by 1. If this was a 2 by 1, I could potentially go across. If it's a 2 by 2, I might also be okay. So I don't know what's happening there yet. This is a 1. This is part of a 2 by 1 because it sees the other two and it can't go across. That's a 2. So this is part of a 2 by 3, so it must incorporate all of those, and it can't go that way or I'd be touching. So it's there. This cell is part of a 1, so this has to be part of a 2 by 1. Therefore, this is part of a 2 by 3, and the only way it can go, the only way is up. This is a 1 now because it sees the others, and this has to be part of a 2 by 1, meaning this is part of a 1 because it's the only thing that can fit into the single. I hope I'm explaining these well. This is a 1 because it sees the other two. So this has to be part of a 2 by 1, and if it went that way, there's nothing I could fill here because they need a single width piece without being a 1 by 2 or a 1 by 1 or a 2 by 1. So this must go up. I hope I'm explaining these well. If this is a 1, I think I'm broken. If this is a 1, where do we go from here? No, that could work. Never mind. I can see a few different ways. Is it this? If this was a 1, this would be part of a... Yeah, hang on. They're 2 by 3s. If this is a 1, what the heck am I putting in here? This would be part of a 2 by 3 that can't go anywhere. This is part of a 2 by 3, which means it must take this because it's either those cells or those cells. If this goes up, that's part of a 1, and then that would be part of a 2 by 3, and then I'd have to fill 4 cells, and that can't be done. So if this goes up, this is a 1, this would have to be part of a 2 by 3 because it couldn't be 1 or a 1 by 1 or a 2 by 1. This would be part of a 2 by 3, and there's no way of filling 4 cells. This must go down. Hey, Izamuk. This now must come out or be a single. But if this is a single, what could this be? This is getting tricky near the end. I don't think this could be a single. Because then this would be a 2 by 1, which couldn't come up, or this would be a 1 and that would have no fill. And if it went this way, we've got the same problem. This is a 2 by 3, which with the wrong number of cells left over. So this is a 2x1, meaning this is a 1. But now I'm broken again. This is wrong. This is absolutely wrong. Hang on, it says it's correct, but that doesn't make sense. The logic I use down here is still broken here. If this is a 1, this can't be a 2x1, because a 2x1 here would... A 2x1 here couldn't go this way. It would have to go this way, meaning this would be a 1, and this would have no fill. So this has to be a 2x1, which means this has to be a 1, which means this is a 2x3, but I can't fill... Oh, I can fill those cells. So the logic I use down here to get this 2x3 is wrong. It turned out to be right. But what I used down here was that I had the wrong count of cells up here with 4, but I can do 4 cells up here. So I need to prove down here again. And maybe I could do it with, if this is a 2x3, it has to do that. And if it does that, how do I fill this? Because this becomes a 1, and that would have to be a 2x3, and that doesn't work. So this has to be a 1. And now this must be part of a 2x3. And now in order to fill this, this is a 1. This has to be a 2x1, and this has to be a 1. That's the logic. This has to now be part of a 2x1, but if it went down, again, I've got the same problem. This is a 1 and this has no fill. So this has to go across, and that completes the puzzle. I shouldn't have started down here. This was the cell to look at. I really don't want these streams to be, it's obviously this, it's obviously this, it's obviously this, it's obviously this. Particularly with the harder puzzles. Because watching streams like that really infuriates me when I don't see it. Okay. That could be a 2. Or it could be a 3 or a 2 here. But if this is a 2, this blue would have to be a 2. So this can't be a 2 in that direction. Yeah, if it was a 2 here, this red could be a 3. But what would this red... no. But this blue would need to pick up a red. It could be a 3 like that. Okay, so I'm not starting here. I can see I'm bouncing between 2s and 3s in this top corner. And this one, no, this could be part of a 3 doing that, and then I could pick up that as a 2. But then this would have to be a 2. And that doesn't work. So if this is a 3, both of those are 2s, and we're broken. No, we're not. That could be a 3, that could be a 3, that could be a 4. But then this one is a 2. That one can't go anywhere. and those are the same shape. So I think that is the 2 to start it, but I don't see a clear proof of that other than that. If this is the 3, like this has to be part of a 2 here or a 3 here, because if this was a 2, this would be forced to be a 2 and we've got a conflict. I think the thing is, what happens if that's part of a... Well, that has to be part of a 2, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. If this is part of a 2, we're broken. Because this blue can only be part of a 2. So this can't be part of a 2. So that's a 3. That's a 2. No, that doesn't work either. But that could be a 3 and that could be a 2. Then that could be a 4. No, this is not logical. I don't like this. How is this difficulty 3? What's the way of thinking about this that I haven't understood? This blue is part of a 2 region. It must be part of a 2 region because once it grows, it's done. This blue must be part of a 2 region because once it grows, it's done. So that can't go up or that way. And this one now must go up because if it goes this way, it's going to touch the blue region that's part of this. That's the 2 region. Now this red must come out, but can't be part of a 2 region. And that's the only way it can be a 3 region. I think I'm starting to understand. This must be part of a 3 region. But if I don't go up, this blue isn't getting anything. If I come this way, this blue is completely trapped. So that's the 3 region. I think this is the logic. But this blue is also part of a 2 region. No, it's not. This one doesn't have to be. This one does because once I hit this red, it's trapped. Once I hit this red, it's trapped. And once I hit this red, it's trapped. And this red is trapped as well. But this one has ways out. So this red, though, can only be part of a 2 region. And this blue can only be part of a 2 region because once this red grows, it stops. So that has to be the 2 region because this red can only be part of a 2 region because if it hits this blue, it runs out. And if it hits this blue, it runs out. So that's the 2 region. So this blue, which must come out, let's use a different color, is at least a 3 region. So it must continue. It may go further. This blue, if it goes down, has to be part of a 4 region, which is doable because it couldn't be a 3. They're just different shapes, not different. So this has to continue because it can't be the same shape as this and it can't go up. So it's at least that. It's not just size of region, it's shape of region. And I may have made a mistake from this, but the only way to do a 2 region is a domino. So I'm good. This red can't be part of a domino, so it can't go down. Because if it went down, it stops. This red can't go down. So now this blue has to come out. And it can't be part of a domino, so it comes out again, and then it's trapped. This red can't be part of a domino. Yeah, so it's pretty clear. It's just that. What a puzzle. I really like this logic about not being able to link dominoes together. again, I hope I'm explaining this well, because I'm having to find the logic and then explain what I'm finding. Well, I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, so a limited shape bank. So we can draw some borders in. But not as many as I might like. So how does this red get to a blue? It could do it with an elbow, but this is the only blue it can reach. Because it's the only blue that I can, yeah, this is the green blue. Those two are connected. Because a blue could only be within an L shape, a 2x2, or an elbow. So that's the connected blue to that red. This where does this blue get its red? This must get its red from an L shape. This blue must get its red from an L shape. Because it can't get a red from an elbow or a 2x2. So this blue is getting its red from an L shape, which is either that, or that. I'm really trying, J40, because I don't want to pick on them because I am a bit of a fan, even though sometimes it sounds like I'm not. When I watched the CTC stream, I was watching Simon just go, obviously this, obviously this, obviously this, obviously this, obviously this next puzzle. And even though I'd solved a lot of the puzzles that he was doing, I was just looking at it going, why? Yeah. So this must be an L shape to connect. So whatever is coming out of here is going to be an L shape. So this blue, because it must go up or across, this blue cannot be an L shape. So where is this blue getting its red? This blue here can only get its red using an elbow or a 2x2, which means it has to get it from within those cells. So that is its red. It has to be that one. And then it must either elbow or 2x2, which means it's taking one of these two cells. So this L cannot go up. And this is that L. That's bonkers, but I think that's correct. But now where does this blue get its red from? It can't get that one, and the only other one within range is that one. This must take this cell, otherwise it's orphaned. Now, I don't know that it's not a 2x2 yet, but it must take that cell. Actually, no, it must take this cell, but it must also take this one. Because this can't be an L, and it can't be part of a 2x2. So this is part of an elbow, which comes out. So this must be part of a 2x2. And this must be part of a 2x2 because it touches an L and it touches an elbow. So this is part of a 2x2, which can only go that way, meaning this goes up. This can now only be part of an elbow because it touches the others. This now can only be part of an L. And it can't take this, it can't, so this L comes out, but it can't come up to this blue or this red would have no blue. That's the L. I feel this has to be a 2x2 because if this was an elbow, I'd orphan cells. This logic around the L's to get started, very cool. But if this was an elbow, it couldn't go this way because this cell would be orphaned now. Sorry, it couldn't go this way because this cell would be orphaned. It would have to go this way. And then how do I get out of here? This couldn't be an elbow. This would have to be an L. And it'd either do this, which would leave this cell orphaned, or it would do this and this cell would be in 2 regions. It doesn't work. So this is a 2 by 2. So this cell must be part of an elbow. And I want to say it does that. But that doesn't work. So if it was taking this blue, that would be the elbow, but that doesn't work because then I'd have to put an L here and an L here and they'd be touching each other. So this must take that. These are the same and I can't go this way or this cell would be orphaned. That's the elbow. And now it just works because I can make this a blue 2 by 2 and then I've got room for the yellow L. That is beautiful. These puzzles are so good. I really hope that my explanation is worthwhile, particularly considering I really feel lost in the woods. There's a 2 here. That's a 1. That's a 1. So this has to be a 3 by 1. So this has to be a 1. This can't be part of a 3 by 3. If this was part of a 3 by 3, that cell couldn't be anything. So this isn't part of a 3 by 3. So this is part of a 1 by something. I feel this needs to be a 3 by 3, but that's a feeling, not a proof yet. No, that is part of a 3 by 3 because it sees the other 2. That is a proof. Now this has to be part of a 3 by 1. This has to be a single width, so it has to be a single 1. Hang on. This is broken. No, it's not broken because this could be a single 1 and then this could be a 3 by 1. Not broken. This is a 3 by 1 and now I'm broken. This is wrong. See, there is at least one mistake. Let's reveal. Okay, so this is a 1 and this is a 1. This has to be a 3 by 1. Therefore, this has to be a 1. This has to be part of a 3 by 3 because there's no other way of doing it. This now can't be a 1, therefore it's a 3 by 1. Don't know what this is yet. If this was a 3 by 1, that would have no fill. There, right. I was right to here, but what I did was I made a logical error here. If this is a 3 by 1, this couldn't be any cell because it couldn't be a 1 by 1. It couldn't be a 3 by 1 and there's no 3 by 3 fill here. So that doesn't work. So what do I do? Well, I make that the 3 by 1 and that a 1 by 1. And then that allows this to be a 1 by 1. Now this can't be a 3 by 3 or a 1 by 1. So this is part of a 3 by 1 that can't go across, so it must come up. This is now a 1 by 1. This is now a 1 by 1. This has to be part of a 3 by 3 because it touches the other 2. This is part of a 3 by 3 because it touches the other 2. This now has to be a 1 by 1. This now, if it was a 1 by 1, yeah, these are 5 digits. There are digits, 5 cells. If this was a 1 by 1, that would be a 3 by 3 and that would be a 1 by 1 and be fine. But if this is a 3 by 3, those 2 would have to be 1 by 1s. And if this was a 3 by 1, those 2 would have to be 1 by 1s. So we go 1, 1, and that's the solution. I got lost in the weeds down here and thought I'd made a mistake when I hadn't. But up here for dancing and down there for thinking. This is a 1, this is a 1, this is a 1, this is a 1. I found 4 of the regions. Can I call the puzzle done now? This can't be a 1. And it can't be a 2 by 1. If this was a 2 by 1, I'd hit here and it's no longer a 2 by 1. It can't be a single cell, so it has to come out, and now it's part of an elbow. Great. This elbow can't go up or across. This must come out. This must come out. But I don't know which ones they are. This must be a single. Because the 2, this is part of a 2 and this is part of a 2. So this one can't come down or it'd touch that one. That one can't go across or it'd touch that one. That's a single. Hey, Chip. So now, and this 2 can't go that way or that way. So this is a 2 and this is a 2. And now this can't be a 2. So this has to be an elbow. This 2 can't go that way or it'd touch. This one can't go that way or it would touch. So how do I fill this? I mean, you can clearly fill the elbow this way and make this a single. If I did this, then this would either have to be 2 singles or a 2, which aren't possible. So that has to be the elbow. Because if I did the elbow that way, then we can't fill this. I can't put a 2 in there and I can't put 2 1s in there because the 2 1s would be touching. If I did that, which is the only other way of doing it, then this couldn't be an elbow because I can't make any of these an elbow. I can't put a 2 in any of them, so it'd be 3 1s. That must be the elbow and this must be the single. Now this has to come out. No, that could be a single. This is part of a 2. So this could be a single or an elbow. I don't know which. But this is part of a 2 because it can't be a single or an elbow and it has to go up. Now this has to be an elbow, so it must do that. And this is now part of a 2 because of, well, just the way it works. I mean, that's bad logic, but this had to be a 2 because it was touching the other 2. It could had to go up because it couldn't go down. Then this had to be an elbow. And then the elbow had to come out because of where the 1 was. And then it has to turn because that's what elbows do. And then this just left a 2 behind. If this elbow goes down and across, this 2 would have to go up and leave that as a single. It doesn't work. So it can't do that. If it comes down and goes that way, it's touching this, which doesn't have to be an elbow. I'm going to make this a different color because I don't know what that is. If it did this, this would be a 2, and then these can't be filled. They couldn't be 2s or 2 1s. So this can't come down at all. If it goes that way, we're broken. If it goes that way, we're broken. So it can't come down here. So it must go that way and then bend. And then this becomes a 2. This can't be part of an elbow because I can't bend, and it can't be part of a 2. That's a 1. This can't be part of an elbow, so this is part of a 2. This can't be part of a 1 or a 2 or an elbow. That's a 1. This can't be part of an elbow. Are we broken now? Are we broken now? No, we're not. Because I can just draw an elbow in here and a 2 in here. Those final ones are very much about just figuring out what fits. When you get down to only a few cells, it very much is to what fits. Before then, it's the logic, but nothing else fit for those. And it always feels a bit weird, but It's kind of like the given digits at the end of a Sudoku. Oh, I'm dreading the 6. Let's try it while everyone's watching. Those are all different 3s. They're all different 3s. So this one is important because it's either this or this. Because it can't reach here, 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 or here, but it is straight through that. But I don't know which one of those it is. But if it's horizontal, then this couldn't be horizontal, and both of those would need to be vertical. So we've got some symmetry going on here. If this is horizontal, oh, absolutely, people. If you've never heard of You Can Call Me Martha, absolutely go check out her channel. So, really, really fun solver. Another way that I'm different from some other streamers, I will absolutely say go check out other channels. So, if this could be flipped, but if this is horizontal, if this is horizontal here, neither of these could be horizontal. And they can only be horizontal or vertical. And they can't be vertical like this because then they'd be touching. So if this is horizontal, these would be vertical. And then this couldn't be vertical. It would have to be horizontal, making this vertical, this horizontal, this horizontal, this vertical, and this horizontal. And that's forced by the position of the central one. Or each of those could rotate 90 degrees. But that's forced. So if I tried to rotate those 90 degrees, does that break? And I can't see how it does. But I think that's a fundamental geometry trick in this puzzle. So we know that this cell, this cell, this cell, this cell, well, actually, let's just do it with dots. None of these cells oh, wow. None of these cells can contain 3x1s. So none of the cells with dots in the corner can contain 3x1. So I don't think we can actually fit any other 3x1s in this grid. And the reason for that is if this is a 3x1 vertically here, that touches all of those 6. If this is the 3x1, then it touches all of those 6. Either way, it touches the 4 corners, and it's the same for all of them. So all of those cells with dots can only be made up of 2x1s or 2x1 or single cells. So what the heck is that doing in here? How do I fill this? It's this. It's absolutely this. If I did a 2x1 here, these couldn't be 2x1s, 3x1s, or singles. It doesn't work. Because these now couldn't be singles, couldn't be 2x1s. It just does not work. So these can only be made up of 2x1s and 3x1s. If I do a 2x1 here, let's not use green for it. Let's use blue. Actually, let's use yellow. If this was a 2x1, what can I put in this cell? If this is a 1x1, this cell has no fill. It doesn't work. If this is a 2x1, if this would have to be a 1x1, and this cell has no fill. So how do I make this work? Those need to be 4 different regions, and I can draw that in. That's a single, that's a single, and those are 2x1s in either that order or that order. But I've got similar up here, but not as restricted. But this now has to be, no, I'm not sure. These are definitely parts of 2x1s. I've kind of got X-wings on region types going on. Is this all making sense to people? If blue goes up, then I know the geometry of green. If blue goes horizontal, I might know the geometry of green. How do I know which is which? Because here I've got the same issue. And I think I've got the same issue here and here. But how is the geometry broken here? Yeah. I think this is the way it has to go. If the lines did the other way, let's draw them as boxes. If the lines went that way, all of these would need to be 1x1 regions. I couldn't do 2x2 regions out of any of those. These would all be forced to be 1x1 regions because the 3x1 lines being forced by this middle box geometry would not allow any of these to be 2x2s. They'd all have to be 1x1s. So green is that, 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 and that. That is bonkers. That was bonkers. I'm going to be very, very interested to see how long it took me to solve that one with having to find it, not knowing how this one works, because these puzzles are really new to me, compared to how long it takes someone like Simon to solve this. I think this was my best solve so far. Why is it saying 31 out of 31 when I've still got all of these other puzzles to do? So this has to come out, but it can't be a 3. If this was a 3, it would be touching a 3. So that's the end. This is a 3. Which can't go all the way down. But this is now part of a 3. So that's the 3. This is now the 1. This now has to be part of a 2, which goes that way. This is now a 1, because it sees a touching a 2 and a 3. This, could that be a 1? Maybe. No, I don't think this could be a 1. Because if this was a 1, this would have to be a 2 or a 3. And if it was a 2, it'd be a 2 touching a 2, which doesn't work. And if it was a 3, it would be a 3 running into a 2, which doesn't work. So this can't be a 1 or a 2. This is a 3. Okay, I will try and find them later. This has to be part of a 2, which can't go down, so that's the 2. And this can't go across now, that's the 2. This has to be a 1 because it's touching a 2 and a 3. This has to be a 2 because it's touching a 3 and a 1. This is a 3 that must go across, so it must take at least those 2 cells. And it can't go this way. Actually, I'm not sure about that now. Nope, I saw something that was wrong, so I'm not going to explain it. Yeah, I'm looking at what happens if it goes left. This would become a 2. This would be a 1. No, that works. Why can't that be a 1? If this is a 1, this would be a 3 and it can't be. Right. Yes, sorry, you are correct. This now has to be a 1. So this now has to be a 2. This, I shouldn't have removed the 2 from here. So I can't put a 3 in here, or I could if I made it vertical. And I think I have to, because otherwise I'm making it up with all 2s and 1s, and I don't think I can do that. Because if this went down and this wasn't a 3, yeah, that's just the way it works. It's again, you get to the end and you just see that's the way it works. which is a bit messy, but the logic to get to the point where that's just the way it works. I've been looking for hidden puzzles. So this has to come out, but can't be part of a 2. No, it doesn't have to come out at all. That is complete nonsense. So this could be a 1. Actually, there is something going on here. If this went up, this would have to go across, and those would both be singles. That's fine. If this went out and this went down, that would be not work. So if this goes up and this goes up, I could put a 3 in there. That's fine. But if this goes down, I think we're broken. I don't think that could go down. Have a good one, Eric. Okay. If this goes down, I think we're broken. Because this now can't be a 2. It can't be a 1 making that a 2. And it can't be a 3. So this has to go across. That doesn't resolve this at all. Although this can't go that way. And this can't go that way. Wait a minute. I've got something up here. This is either a 2 going there or a 2 going there. But if this is a 2 going there, what the heck am I putting in here? I can't do 2 1s and I can't do a 2. This must go that way. And that must be a 3. This 2 can't go up, so that's a 2 going down. This 2 can't go in those directions anymore. That's a 2 going across. This 2 can't go in those directions anymore. Hasn't resolved this at all. In fact, yes, it has. If this was to go up, that now would either be 2 1s or a 2. That doesn't work. That's the 2, that's a 3, and that's a 1. If this is a 1, if this was a 1, then this would need to be a 2, which it couldn't be, or a 3, which it couldn't be. So this can't be a 1 or a 2. That has to be a 3. And now this 2 is coming down. If this was a 1, I could potentially put a 3 in here. So that one's not as forced. This 2 can't come up or that way. If this 2 came down, this one would have no direction to go. So this 2 goes that way. This 2 now must go down. This 2 can't go that way and it goes that way, making that a 1, that a 1. This 2 must now go up. Oh, and it just auto-completes the puzzle on me. Okay. Okay, part of the same region, 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 part of the same region. One and done, one and done, one and done, one and done. Oh, there's going to be a very, very, very large region threading through this whole damn thing. We've got a border in here, 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 a border in here. Those red regions are all different regions. I have a bunch of Discord messages to look at. Oh, this is a 1. This is a 1. This is a 1. This is a 1. Okay, so I get the feeling I need to be paying attention to these reds. So how do I complete this red? I can't go up. I can't go that way. I can't go that way. So the only place I could put the 3 is here. And it has to be that. Now this can't go that way. This can't go down. It can't go that way. It can't, whoa, it can't go up. And it can't go that way. So it must do that. Oh, this is interesting. This can't go down. This, actually that one could go down. But this one can't go that way. This one can't go that way. This one can't go that way. It can't go that way. So there's this weird... There's a border here. This one can't go that way. This one can't go that way. This 4 has to be vertical. Because I can't put it in that horizontal gap. This 3 must be horizontal because I can't put it in this vertical gap. This 2 is vertical. So it's either those 2 cells or those 2 cells. This 2 can't go down or across or it would touch this one. This is a 2. So this 2 can't go in either of those 2 directions. That's a 2. How am I fitting? Oh no, this one could be the same one. Look, that could connect up that way. These ones couldn't. Could they? Ah, no, these ones could have. No, they couldn't. These ones could, but these are in the same rows. So these ones couldn't. Is it this one? I could do it like that. Or I could do it like that. I think they're the only options. This cell must be included in the 4. So those are both included because I can't go purely up because I'll run into the 1. So this can't go that way. So those must be the same region now. How do I get this? involved. How do I complete this red? I can't do that. It would be touching that. So I can't make this part of the 3 length. So it's part of one of the 2s. I can't do that. I run into the T-piece. I can't do that. I'm running through the 4-piece. It must do that. Because I can't do that because I'm touching way too many places. This is that piece. That is amazing. Now, these are all 2s now, right? Because... And now what do I know about this? Absolutely nothing. It could still be that or that. But these feel forced. This is part of a 2. I think I'm wrong about this huge stretchy region looking in this bottom corner now. This bottom corner, bottom left corner is doing something very, very strange because this must come out and this must come out. But I can't stop there and I can't go up. So this must come out, but it can't be a T-piece. I can't stop there because then I'd have 2 T-pieces touching. So it must come up. Yeah, this is, I need to go through this again. Chat, feel free to, yeah, this has to come out because it can't be a single. This has to come up because it can't be a single. I can't stop there or go up. If I go up, I'm breaking this shape and I can't stop there or I'd be 2 shapes of the same. I'd be mingling shapes. So it must continue. I can't stop there because I'd have 2 T's touching each other and I can't go into here or this would be the wrong shape. So I must go up. But now this must go up and then bend. But this must come out. So there is my elbow. Now this elbow can't come down or it'd be touching. Where the heck is this T-piece going now? This T-piece, let's call it green. This T-piece can't do that. I'm isolating this. It can't do that. I'm isolating this. It has to do that. Or that. Either, whoops. Either way, it must take those 2. But hang on, this is an no, I could draw the T in here and have the elbow come this way. Or that way. But either way, those are part of the elbow, right? I can't do the elbow. Oh no, I could do the elbow like that and have the T up here. So I'm not sure about that yet. But if no, I can't do the elbow like this. If I did the elbow like this, that would be a single and it can't be. So the elbow can't come into here. So it can't come this way. That's the elbow. Oh my Lord. And that's the double. That can't be part of the T-piece and it can't be a single. That's a double, meaning this is the T, meaning this is the 4-piece. This has to come out. And it can't be a dub. Yeah, it has to come out. And it can't stop there, and it can't move on. The blue must come up now and be the double, because this can't move in or it wouldn't be a double. And so, yeah, they can't connect up. The blue must come up. This can't stop here. Actually, I think I'm right about this ever-growing region. This can't... I couldn't put the elbow at the bottom. If I'd put the elbow in the bottom like that, that would have been a single. And I can't have two singles touching. Does that make sense, J40? Oh, okay. Let me go back and try that again. This is why I keep saying that these puzzles don't give you the same sort of... You've got to know exactly where to look. You're right. So I don't see what I can do there. So you get to something like this and then realize you can't actually do anything here, and then you've got to go somewhere else and figure out, where am I looking? This is still bugging me because this must come out. It can't stop there because then I'd be touching a 2. So it has to go somewhere. This has to continue. If it goes down, I could link up. So that's not... Similarly, this must come out, and it must come out at least to there. And then keep go. Oh, this can't stop. Okay, this is not part of a 1 or a 2. So it must come out. It can't stop there. This might be what Butterfly's saying. It can't stop here because it'd be part of a 2. So it must continue. It can't stop there. It'd be touching a 3. It must continue. Can't stop there. It'd be touching a 4. It must continue. It can't stop there. It'd be touching a 5, and that's the 5 region? Why is that broken? Why does that say that's not depicting the shape of its region? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's a 6. Hang on. So this is broken. So this can't be a 1. It can't be a 2. It can't be it can't stop there. It can't stop there. It can't stop there. So this, first of all, oh, wait. This could bend or come here and then continue. But it must come to at least here and then either bend. No, it can't bend. It can't bend because if it bends, then that completes the region and it's touching another region of the same type. It must continue and then continue. But this is now a 2. This is now a 3. This is now a 4. And this is, no, where do I fit this red region now? I can't do the link up here anymore. It has to be that. So this is a 2, this is a 2, this is a 2. This must take this cell now. Now I don't know, and it can't come this way, or this would be a 2 or 2 1s. So it must come this way, locking that in and making this a 3. Because I can't make this a 1 and a 2 or 3 1s because they can't put a 2 in any of those. Now this is a 3 that goes horizontal now. And it can't do that because then this would be a 2 or 2 1s. I don't even think it can do that. No, it could, because then I could do an elbow. But it must come this way at least 1. But then how do I make this shape work? Because that comes up and then the shape is forced. It must be that. That's the only way to draw that shape in from there. So this is the 3 and this can't be 1s or 2s. So this is an elbow. And now this shape must come out. I can't turn immediately. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, locking all of that in. This shape must grow, otherwise I'd be touching a 5. There's a border there. Now we know this shape must come out. And it can't stop there because then it'd be touching a 2. It can't stop there, it'd be touching an elbow. It can't stop there because it'd be touching one of these. So it must continue, and it can't stop there because it'd be touching one of these. So it must continue, and it can't holy shit. It can't stop there because it'd be touching one of those. I could have started up here. All of these purples are going to link up. I kind of got the impression from down here this was going to happen, but I couldn't prove it. But now this has to be a vertical 5 because I can't run this way. I'll run into purple. So this is a vertical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that means this is a vertical 5 because that can't go up. That's a vertical 5 and my T is broken. No, that's a vertical 4. Sorry, so that was complete nonsense. It's a vertical 4 and it could go up. But the T must take one of those two. So this must go up at least 1. Now the question is, how do I fit all of these in? Because this has to come out. So this is now that. Then this has to do... No, I'm broken. No, that's the shape. And these are both 1s. And then this orange comes down. And the purple has to continue, or it's the same shape as that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I could stop there. But I can't. If I stop there, what's this? It couldn't be a 1, so it'd have to come out and then it would touch the 2. It must do that. Now this 2 comes out and completes. This, I have no idea how I'm doing this. This must come out. It can't go that way, so it does that and completes. This must come out. I can't go that way, so it's literally that shape. This must come out, can't go down, because then this would be trapped as a single region. So it comes up and completes. This is a 2. And that means this can't be a 1. So the 4 must come up in here or I'm broken, because this can't be a 1. If the 4 went down, that'd be a single region touching a single region. That's the 4. The 2 must go down now, meaning this is a 1. This can't be a 2 because it's touching a 2. This must go down and it can't be a 3. Those connect up, making that a region. And now we know the shape of the T. That's the T, meaning this is the elbow and this is a 1. How have I done this? This is now the shape 1, 2, 3, 4 and in, and that completes the puzzle. I really hope I explained that logically for everyone. This is my goal, to do logical solves for everyone on puzzles I do not understand. So I've now got these ones. I was really not enjoying these. Can I move on? I think I've got to do these, don't I? What are these? Can't even see these puzzles. All regions must have an area of exactly 3. Well, okay. That must do that. That must do that. That must do that. That must do that. This must come out and bend. This can't go that way. If this was vertical, then this couldn't bend. So this is horizontal. If this went down, yeah. If this went down, how would I complete this? It'd be a region of 2 or 3. This must come up and therefore bend there, causing that to bend, causing, actually, no, I don't know that at all. But that's now a region of 3. That must come out and complete, so that can be a region of 3. That previous puzzle was amazing. I kind of want to get to easier puzzles for a bit. Okay, so that's an area of 9. This is at least 4. I don't like these off shapes. I really don't. This must be blue. And this can't be blue. So this comes into here. So how, I can't even map this shape. I think I see how it must work though. I think it must be that, because it must, these two must be those two or those two. Either way, it rotates the same way. So it's 2 with 2. So this is a 4. And then that's a 2 and that's a 1. And that's the region. Which means this region is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's your region. This is one. No, let's use a different color. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, don't complete that off, you nupty. I can't come into here because this is not part of the same thing. So 6, 7, 8. And now I need to draw this region into here. Well, how the heck am I going to do that? I've got a problem. So I made a mistake up with this yellow region. I don't know how I made a mistake with this yellow region. Because this can't be blue. So blue must get out and do that. So yellow must come into here and now be part of that region. But the only way you've got a single cell out is on one of these two end pieces. Otherwise, it's part of a 2x2. So a single comes into a 2x2. So this must be part of a 2x2, which must then connect to a 2x2 there. No, that is forced. So I'm confused. Unless stupid auto border things. This must be part of a 2x2. Could I put... I can't put the 2x2 up here. Yeah, there's nowhere else I can put the 2x2. These shapes are weird. Because when you draw... This must be part of the 4. Because wherever this is, that's part of the 4. And if I can't... This is part of a 4. And I've got to have 2 protruding from the middle of the 4. And I can't do it down here. So it must be here. And then I have that being part of another 4. And then that completes it. That has to be it. There is no other way of drawing that shape. And then blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, does that. But now this is broken. Because that must come out to there. It can't join up because that's not the same shape. So it must do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But this can't now be drawn in. Or can I? Yes, I can. I can do 2, 3, 4. And then this becomes that, and that completes it. I missed the option of how to draw that in. Okay, I missed this. I went back to investigate this again because I missed how I could put this shape in. Because these flipping of these complex, of these larger pieces, it's like a, what is a 5-cell 21 cage? I don't know. I'm never going to memorize all the ways of making those cages that have like 9 options. I'm never going to do that. It's ugh. It's not mentally interesting. Okay, all regions have an area of exactly 2. Okay, so this has to go up. This has to go up. This has to go up. This has to go out. This has to go out. This has to go up. This has to go that way. This has to go down. This now has to go down. This has to go down. This has to go that way. 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 And we're done. Because any other option from the ones that I picked would run it into another red, but each one can only have one of each symbol. Area of exactly 3. This must come out, but I have options. This must come out and I have options. This must come out and then go down because I can't run into another red. This must come out and I've got options. This must go down and I can't run into a red, so there's my region. This red can't go down. This is tied off. This can't go this way. If this went this way, this would be forced to do that, and that would be tied off. So this must go up. And that's the 3. And now if this went this way, I would have the wrong count of digits. So that's the 3. This must now come out and pick up one of the... no, that's not true. It could pick up that red if those were the reds. So let us not be hasty. This must come out and get a red. Where does this cell get its red from? It can only get that one. It's the only red within 3 of that. Where does this get its red from? It can only pick up that one. Where does this cell get its red from? It can only pick up that one. Where does this get its red from? It can only pick up that one. So that's now forced, and that's now forced. This can only go to here now, because if I didn't get this, where would this go? If I went this way, that would be a 2-cell region. It doesn't work. So this has to go to here. That's the 3, and that's the 3. Wow, they don't give you a lot of 1s and stuff anymore, do they? Oh my god, I forgot all about Geminis and Deltas. So, this has to come here and stop. So this has to come here and stop. Because it has to be the same shape region. Now, this can't be the same shape region. So this has to come out, but cannot stop. So it must go to there. But this blue needs to get a red. So it must do that. And then that is all forced. Now, this must be a 3 region, and that's it. Okay. I found it. Ooh. 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 I need to draw a region of this shape that picks up one of everything. Well, I could kind of see how to do that. With 2 pluses. That needs to pick up one of each shape with 2 pluses. I can't reach these. I don't think I can reach those. And there's no 2 by 2. I have to reach one of these. Because there's no 2 by 2 that does it. So, it has to be that. Okay. Well, this red must come out and then pick up a blue. Whichever blue comes out then picks up one of these reds, but I don't know which one it is. This blue must come out, and this blue must come out, and this blue has to come up, so it picks up that. So this blue must come up and pick up that red, so that must go that way now. And this must be part of a 3, and it can't be a vertical 3, it has to be a horizontal 3, because if it was part of a vertical 3, it would not touch a blue. So it's a horizontal 3. This now must bend down here. This red must come out and pick up a blue, but this must go that way because it's the only way that can get a blue. This now has to bend. If it went that way, these would be separated. So it's that. Ha ha! I'm forever solving puzzles. It's like blowing bubbles, but more basic for BremSter. Let's see what I'm going with this one. Regions of exactly 4. Mingle shape. So these are the same region and therefore must do that. These are the same region and must do that. These are the same region. These are the same region and they're a T. So we have some options here. But regions of exactly 4. Well, this has to come out. It can't go here or I'm trapping. So that's the 4. And therefore that's a 4. Well, this has to come up to here. So there's your T. This has to come up here. So there's your L. This must come out. These must come out. These have to come out. But they... Oh, no, these... Whoa, 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 whoa. I have a problem here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, BremSter has been a moron. Okay, let's go back to this. Was I right with this initial deduction? Yes, it's mingle shape. So they have to connect. And the only way they can connect is to do this. Yeah, and the same here. These are the same shape. These are the same shape. This now has to pick it up. And the only way to do the T is that. This has to pick this up. And the only way to do the L is that. That is forced. Now, this has to come out. No, it's that. If this comes up, that's isolated, unless if I come down. So unless I pick up that, it's isolated. If I come down and do that, we've got isolation. And if I come all the way down, the only way to get this out is to match region. So that is forced to be that. Aha. Now this has to come out, but can't be an L. So that's that. Now that's forced to be that. This has to come out. This has to come out. It can't go a T in this direction. It looks like it just has to be that. And again, it's what's left with the 2 regions I have to put in. The thing about having the regions at the top was kind of cool. I suppose this 5 is what allows me to move on. Let's do a couple of more puzzles in this area and then see if I can move on. What have I got here? These are all 5s. Maybe what have I got here? I've got 5 more puzzles in this area, but I don't know where they are. I mean, I'm assuming they're hidden down here somewhere, but I can't see. I hated this, by the way. This was terrible. Oh, there's one there. There's a 4. Exactly 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are... So that is a region. This is a different region, and this is a different region. So is it just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. How is that a difficulty 4? How is that a difficulty 4? So the reason that was forced is this is the same thing. These had to be the opposite color. If these did anything other than go directly around the border, so if I put a red here and connected those up, how can I connect up the purples now? There's no way of doing it. There's no way for me to connect the purples. So I can never put a red on the border because of these two on the border. If I put a red, because there's only two regions. If I put a red here, this has to connect to red. And now purple is isolated. If I put a red here, I have to connect it to red somehow, and purple is isolated. So purple has to run around the outside. That's 21, forcing red in the middle to be the other 21. It's just forced. I suppose that's all the yin-yang practice. I don't know where these other hidden puzzles are supposed to be. Down here. Okay. Man, that's... Regions of exactly 4. I suppose that's true, Keith, and I should accept that. So this has to have the same shape as purple. So purple must grow, and therefore blue must grow. But I don't know. So either purple goes down and blue goes down, or purple goes across and blue goes across, but I don't know which. Now, this must come out, so this must come out, but I don't know what's happening there. This must come up, so this, which is a different color, must come up. But if green was to come up again, yellow is trapped. So yellow must come out and green must be the same shape. So because yellow is complete, green must be the same shape. Now this is a region of size 4 that is not the same shape. So it can't bend here once it gets to there. It must do that. And now this is a region of size 4 which is the same shape. So that does that. And then this is a straight region. So this region now, which must come out, I'm going to change that to orange, can't be a straight region. It must bend because it's different to this. So it couldn't continue. It must bend. This is the same shape. So it's either that, which would trap those off, or it's that. And that's beautiful because these must be the same shape. But I've got 5 cells in here. So the only thing that could pick up the extra is by bringing blue in here. And now this has to be the same shape as blue by doing that. And now this is a 2x2. Oh my Lord. Now this is a different shape to an L. But it must come out and it can't continue because then it would be an L. So it's that, meaning this is an L. This can't be an L. This can't be an L, but this must be an L. So there's a border in here. This must be an L, but this has to come out and can't be an L. This must continue and then become an L. It can't go up because if it went up, this region's trapped. So that's that region. This must come up, but and therefore must continue. And now I just need to fill this with 2 shapes. Like that. Beautiful puzzle. Let's try this hidden 4. Regions of exactly 4. So this comes out. Okay, this one's a little more tricky. So this has to be straight. Right. Oh, okay. We can kind of see what's going on here. This region is the same shape as this region. So there's a border there. Because if this went up, then it would both have to be the same shape as yellow and a different shape as yellow. So there's a region coming out here. But blue has to come out to here. Now this can't continue, or yellow would have to be both the same and different. So yellow comes out here, but this isn't yellow. So there's a border here, and green comes out here. Now this comes out, and this has to have a border here. because if this came, then blue and purple would both be the same and different. So blue comes out here. And now this comes out. And therefore there's a border here and purple has to come out here. Otherwise purple and blue are both the same and different. This is going to continue. Maybe. Because I lose these side borders down here. But this is not purple, but it could be yellow. This is... Myst is an awesome game. Okay, so this is shape A. This is shape A. This can't be shape A, so let's call it shape B, and this is shape B. This is shape A. So this, if this went straight and bent, this would be an L. So A and B must be different. So one of them is an L and one of them is, what is it, an N? Because B can either go straight or go down, and A can either go straight or go down. It's the only options. And if A went straight, this would be an L. If this went down, this would do... No, A can't go down, because then this would have to be the same shape and do that, and we've got an isolated. So A is an L. So A is an L. B can't be an L. That is a moth. A is an L. B must do that now. This can't be an L, but it could be fully straight. Because this is now part of a region which is not green, because green is a different shape to A, and that must be an L, and it can't go up there. Yeah, it can't bend here. It won't complete an L. It must continue. Now it must complete an L, and if it goes up, that's wrong. So we get that and that. Bam. I feel like I'm bamming. And at this point, I can clear my pencil marks because they've done, clear my notes, they've done their job. Now this must come out. And it can't come down without taking that cell. So this is either an L or a T. It must take this cell. If it comes out, it must take this cell. Actually, it can't come down. If it comes down, it's got to take those two cells. It must take this cell. And then it can't take this cell. This is isolated. This is an L. And now this must come out. Now this must come out, and it must take that cell. And that is now a T, and this now has to be a T coming out. And the only way it can be a T is that. There's no other way of drawing a T. Because I can't do the only place I could draw the three lengths is there, and I can't go the other way. That is the T. Hopefully that's logical enough. This now must come out. And it can't be an N or whatever this is. But this must come out and be the same shape. But there must be a border here. For the same reason as above, we've now got our extra borders, because if this continued, these would both need to be the same. So that must bend. So this now, no, that's not true. this comes out, if that's a straight, that's an L. That would be an L, and that could be a bendy, and that would be all fine. This can't be part of an L. Okay, I'm struggling. If this was an L, this would be an L. If this was, can this not be an L? It could be a T. Could this be a T? Basically, can this go down into this cell? Actually, that's an interesting question. If this goes down into this cell, there's a border here. And that might be a problem. Because this would come out, and then this would come out, and then this would have to grow. So this would have to grow. This would be straight, and that can't be a full length. So this can't come down. That is the way of seeing this. This must bend. And then the only thing that this can be, because green can't come down, is yellow, and that is the way that's done. Now, this has to be an L, so that goes to there. This is now that shape. This isn't an L, but this is a 4 straight, and that's a 4 straight. There's something about this puzzle that is absolutely, this game that is absolutely amazing. These are 2 5s. Very nervous about these 2 5s. Regions of exactly 8. Rats of unusual size. This is a different color region. Let's make it something seriously different. This must come out. This must come out. This must come out. This must come out. So this is all about borders. Fort red borders. This could be another yin-yang situation. Like, I feel that these have to connect up. Because if they don't, where does yellow go? Because this can't be yellow. Now, I could do yellow like that, but then yellow has to come up here. Then, so yeah, yellow has to come out here. Because yellow, so where does yellow come out? Yellow can't come out here. So this is unable to be where yellow comes out. So yellow must come out here. So these are absolutely yellow, which means yellow takes one of those two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I take all of those, we're clean. Now, yellow could come this way if this isn't yellow, but then yellow would need to grow somewhere. It might be able to do that. I don't know. But those two are definitely yellow. But yellow could take this aqua, and then it doesn't need to grow any further, and that would give me some freedom. But green isn't yellow, and blue isn't green. So where does blue get out? Sure, that'd be a nice thing to know. I should have done that myself. I'm assuming 4 regions. No, it'd be 5. Yeah, 5 regions. So where does this blue get out? Yellow can't go here. So this is no on yellow. Where does blue get out? If blue comes out through here, where the hell is green going? Green is trapped. If blue comes out through here, green is completely trapped. because green would have these 3 cells and have nowhere to go, because blue is different to green. So blue must come out through here. And if it came this way, the green could come out this way. So I still don't know which one, but those are the same region, the same as those are the same region. Oh, if those are the same region, then that's yellow. Nothing else can pick it up. And that's blue. Right. That's that. Great. Sorry, that was way clearer than... And yellow can't go that way, and blue can't go that way. And yellow must grow, but yellow has more options than blue, which must still take that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then must grow at least one more. But blue could take those. I feel this is border play. Although this is going to come into effect. Where's green coming out now? Green can't stay in here. It can't come out this way. Green has to come out this way. These have to be green. Yellow can't come this way. This has to be green. Or does it? Yes, this has to be green, because nothing else can get in here. The only thing that could get in here is yellow and green. This has to be green. Because, and this now has to be green, because it's yellow. I can make that green and that yellow, actually. But this is yellow or green, and this is yellow or green. So these are yellow and green, but I don't know which one is which. But green must get out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, yellow must take it. Green must take this. So yellow must take this and green must take that. That is forced. And then I don't know about this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is green or blue, but I don't know which. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is now separate. So yellow must grow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If this was to grow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that would grow, and that would be an isolated cell. So if green was to grow to here, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blue would have to take this. So that would be 4, that would be 4, and that would be isolated. So this must be green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the limit of green. And blue, well, I'm still trying to think about this. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This could be blue. Or blue could, hang on. If this wasn't blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this would be isolated. That must be blue. I have 5 regions already. Stop doing that recoloring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I take this one, this is isolated, so that's the 8 and that completes it. It took me a bit to wrap my head around that one. Sorry, Butterfly. I hope the people watching this are enjoying it. I know a lot of people are jumping in and then leaving because I can see the view duration and everything. People don't like me doing this game. Oh, well. Let's try this one. Area of exactly 5. So these are all the same because this is the only way out. That's the only way out. Picking up that's a 4. This is the only way out. This is the only way out, but that doesn't work. This must be a different color region. So orange must continue, orange must continue. That's an orange. And this must... Now, purple, I feel, is locked. Because that cell, if it was anything other than purple, would mean purple is only 4 regions. Did I get this wrong? This has to come out and can't be purple. This has to come out, can't be orange. So there's a border here that forces orange. If this is anything other than purple, then purple isn't big enough. So this is purple. And once this is purple, that forces that to be purple. Great. Now we've got this as a region because that's forced, that's forced, that's forced, and that's the 5. This is forced. This is not. Let's try and find green. That is different. So that is forced, meaning that is forced, meaning that is forced. Right, now we've got something going on with this blue. Let's call it blue. Blue must come out here, but if this isn't blue, if this was orange, blue would only be 4 big. So this must be blue, and then that is blue, forcing orange to come out that way. This is now red. This is not orange. I don't know that. I think I know. What is this? Because we've got one of these is orange, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this, there is a region fully encapsulated in here that is not that. And if this was blue, then that would be blue and I wouldn't have a whole region. So this is red and this is a completely different color. Otherwise the count is wrong. So if this was orange, red can't be completed. So that's orange. And if this was blue, red can't be completed. So this is blue, red must come down to here. That's the only thing that blue can be, and that's red. Am I getting better at these, or is this... And this must come up. Now, do they have to connect? Can they? I don't know. Doing the cell counting up here was really, really nice. This color and this color are different. So that comes up. So where... But there's only 2 cells to get out of here. Here and here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I could fully encapsulate, except these are different colors. So... But I could push that up. Or could I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I don't incorporate 2 complete regions in those cells, what goes wrong? Yeah. If this was yet a third color, I could get blue out here and have room. It's fine because there's no border here. I'm not grokking this yet. Blue must grow. Yep, I'm not grokking this one yet. I feel it is down here in the bottom left. If this was another color, not green, then green would have to come out. The other color would have to do that. Green would come out, and then there's actually room for things to get out. So that actually works. But if this is all green, I can get blue to do something like that. And again, I'm all good. So I don't see what to do there. You are right. Dark blue can't go right. If this went right, yellow would have to connect up with pink. And that's too large. Or, so yellow is 4 or connect up, and that's too large. It doesn't work. Very good spot. Dark blue must go down. And that means it must go down one more to complete. And that locks off these areas. So the question is, can this be a border? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That can't be a border because there's the wrong count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Those must connect. Now this must come out. And there are 3 regions in here and those 2. No, that's wrong. 1, 2, 3. Hang on. What have we got here now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right. This must be it because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's the end of it, and purple must grow. So this is a different region, but this is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yellow must come all the way down and that must go all the way up. Right. Otherwise I have border problems. This was 2 regions and this had to be not pink. So it had to be yellow coming down. Right. Now this can't be blue. Green can't get that far, and it can't be blue because that would isolate a cell. So this is another color, which must come out and must come out. So those are those. Okay. This has a maximum of 5, so it can't get past here. So these are green and blue. And I can't get blue to here. If this was blue, I'd have to come around like this and it's too far. So this is green, which is trapped green in. This is blue. Green is done. Orange can't get this far, so this is blue, which must connect up, and that's orange. I know the designers of this game were in the CTC stream. They will never watch mine. But you did a masterful job of this. The user interface, the music, the way that you've given people the ability to notate. The only thing that I think is poor about this game is the hiding of puzzles. Like hiding, what was it? These down here sort of thing. It's just ick. Just ick. And there's probably other hidden ones I haven't found because I didn't have the right zoom level with the... Just ick. Not a fan. But all regions must have a size of exactly 4. Okay. Except I don't need to draw a border between these because I can, or make them the same because I can make that. So that's, I can draw borders here, 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 and here though. So this now must be the same region. So that is a region. And now that is a region. And if that was a region, we'd be broken. So how do we draw this region? It can't go up. Yes, it could. It could do that. It can't do that. It can't do that. This must be that. Because anything else, how do I prove this logically? I can't go into this cell. Because if I go into this cell, the only way to complete the shape is that. And that is making isolation. So there's a border there. If I go into this cell, I do that, and that's the isolation. So there's borders there. It must go up, and if I go that way, that blocks it off. That is the only way to complete the region, which means this is an L. Great. This is now a T. That is now that. But this must come out. So this can't go down, forcing that. This must go horizontally. It can't go, it must take this cell, because if it went all the way to here, this would only be 3 long. So it must take this cell. The 3 of this must be horizontal. Right, let's look at the 3 of this. It can't be vertical. So it must be horizontal. It can't be there. Because if it was there, this would be... Oh, no, it could be. It absolutely could be. Because then, if it was here, I could make this come to here and this could be a T-piece. So that could work. If it was here, that might be a problem. Because when I take 4 pieces in here, this wouldn't be able to complete. So if it was here, I've got the wrong count of cells in here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It just doesn't work. Once I take 4 cells, however I do it, this needs to take 2 cells and it can't do it. Not without chopping off that piece. So it can't be there. It can be here. It can't be here. That's not valid. Can it be here? Yes. Because then I could do a vertical here, an L here, and I've got options. So all that's proven to me is because of this L, it can't be in one of those. Okay, I've missed something. That's not possible, but that is, and that is. So it's got to be this T-piece. If the 3 is here, we're okay. If the 3 is here, that does... Oh, yeah. No. Where's the 3 length for this T-piece? It can't be here. Because that would force this, and this would be cut off. So the 3 length for this T-piece must be here. That's the clean logic. So the T must do that. Which means this is now forced. I know red can't go all the way to the right. Oh, and now that's forced red. Yes, sorry, that's forced red to be that, which has forced orange to be a T-piece. And that's forced the L. Because the L can't be there. The L can't be there. So the L has to be... No, wait. The L has to be there. Allowing that and that. Wow, that was tricksy. That was a difficulty 2? Are you kidding me? Mingle shape must have different shapes. So this can't be an L, so that's straight. So this can't be straight. It must come out, so it must be an L. This can't bend here, because then it'd be L touching L. So this is a different shape, which must come up, must come out. So this is forced to be an L. This can't be an L. That's that, and that's a cube. Okay. Yeah, I had to get the L out of here. Difficulty 2. That must come out here. There's a border here. So if this has come out, it can't be the middle of the T. It can't come up to here. So this can't be the 3 long. That has to be the 3 long. And that has to be the shape. This is now a 5 long. This must come out. And I can't go up 4, so that's the 4 and that's the shape. This must come out. This, I could do it like that, or like that. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. These are 2 different pieces. This can't be blue. If this was blue, that would be part of the... Oh, no, then I could come out that way. No, I can't come out. Whoa, 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 whoa. How do I come out this way? Yeah, I can't come out this way. Because that would do that, and that's an isolated piece. That's the 3, and that's the 2. But now I'm broken. No, yes, now I am completely broken. Okay, so this is wrong. I'm wrong here. How am I wrong here? There is a border here. This has to come out. I did say get the L out of here. This has to come out. I can't make it this little piece here with that because I'd run into that. So this has to come out. This has to be the 3 length and that has to be the middle. That's forced, which does make this the 5 length. This has to come out and I can't go up. I'd run into that. So that's the 4 and going up. Okay, this does feel forced. But how do I make this work now? Because this, it's 3. No, I could do that. Yeah, if it's 3 length is there, I'm doing that and I can't complete that. If it's 3 length is there, I've trapped that piece in. So its 3 length must be there. And that allows this to complete like that. Okay, I find that tricky. Now, the only way to complete this 5 piece now, I'd say is that. Because if I was to do any other shape, I'm trapping things in. It has to be that. Every other way, every other orientation is trapping things in. And I don't like that as logic, but it is true. I kind of want to run for at least another 10 minutes because I want to make it that when I end this stream, it replaces the puzzle as the most recent thing on the channel that is coming out in 9 minutes, which is a video that if less people see, I'll be very happy. That has to be the T now because this has to come out and connect. And the only way to make this the T once it hits that, that's the 3 long, is to do that. This now has to come up, which then has to bend. This has to come out and it can't hit the plus, so it has to come up, which means that's the W. This has to come out and therefore make the plus. I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do with your life, but I won't call it a BremSter puzzle, but it is a puzzle I am responsible for, and it is probably the worst puzzle I've ever released on the channel. Where does this... Okay. Depicts the shape of its region, and we've got Gemini and deltas. This must come out. There is a 2x2 in here, and it can't be there, or this would have to be a 2x2. So this is a 2x2, forcing that to be a 2x2. This now must do that, because how else do I get this out? There's no other way of doing it. So this is a 1. This is a different region, so this can't go into that cell. This is a 1. And that is a region, making that a 1 and that a region and that a 1. This is an L, which is broken. I've broken the puzzle. So let's try this again. Yeah, I've got to put a 2x2 either here or here. And I can't put it here because that would line up with that and that would have to share. So this is a 2x2, which means this is a 2x2. So how do I make this work now? I can't do that because I then have to run into this region. So it has to be that. This now can't run into there, or I've got 2 regions of the same shape. So that's a border. If I did, I could do that. So I've got that. That doesn't work because that's a single and that doesn't work. So let's look at this L now maybe, but it has to be that now, doesn't it? I see. That's forced. And then it's that and that. I made a mistake with my very first deduction. I say dumb deduction because it was a dumb deduction. Same grid, but... So this has to bend. So this is a 1 and this is a 1. This has to bend. This... Well, that is just that. This has to bend. This can't be a bend. This is a 1. This can't be a 1. So that's the T. That's the T. Okay. I mean, I didn't feel I had much to explain on that one. Maybe I did that one wrong. I don't know. The easier puzzles are very, very hard to... Oh, shit. I hate these. So we're going to have to connect up. So anything I do in one region, I have to do in the other. So if I was to do that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. It's just whatever I drew in one region, I had to draw in the other. It's 2 dragons. So if we made it golden blue, there you go, 2 dragons. Or seahorses. I've only got a couple more minutes to go before... Okay. Depicts the shape of its region. These 2 regions have to have the same shape. Doesn't this have to be this? I mean, I can see it. It doesn't feel good, but it feels... I don't have a logical proof. But I can see it, and I don't like not having a logical proof. Yeah, I can see the solution, which is that. How do I prove it, though? Like, I could see it. And you could see I was right. And if I was Simon, I'd say it has to be this, 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 and therefore I'm done. But seeing it and proving it are 2 different things. And it might be this shape. If this shape was there, this would need to be another L. And that means this shape can't exist. If this shape... I'm trying to prove that it's that, because I think anything else than that forces it onto this Gemini. That forces it onto the Gemini, and that's broken. And there's... I could possibly do that, but now I can't complete the other shape. If I was to do that, then I'm forced to do that, which is broken, or that, which means I can't place the shape. So this L shape is forced to be in the corner, otherwise it touches the Gemini. And now I can't put the 3, the only way to complete this is that. And that's the proof. There's no other way of completing this shape because this has to be part of it. Sorry, there is another way. but I think I can disprove it. The other way that this could be put in is like that. But then the only way of putting that shape on the other side of the Gemini would be that, which breaks the other shapes, or like that, which breaks the other shapes, because this would now run into this. So that doesn't work. This has to do that. And now this must come out. And once it come out 3, it completes that. This must be part of that shape which completes, and that completes the puzzle. That's the proof. I could see it, but proving it was really tricky. And I think the key was this L piece. That was the other way of thinking about it, I suppose. Every piece needed to take its maximal. Well, it was 5, but you needed to prove that it couldn't be the L on it. So could it have been the L on this as the other 5? And as soon as it couldn't be, the L had to be in the corner, and that limited the position of this, and one of the two possibles, and one of them broke the other 2. I think that's the proof. I could see what it needed to be, because as soon as you saw this, the whole thing just solved. Like as soon as you saw that this position, the whole thing was just in. But proving it, apart from the fact that that was a placement, proving that no other placement worked, I think that was the proof. Proving that it was unique was all around this L piece, rather than, I'll bet you, again, when Simon gets to this, and I'm a fan of Simon, he will say, well, it's this, done, move on. And I'm after 11:30 now, so I can stop and have the really, really bad puzzle on the channel. Let's do one more. So the 3-piece of this T can't be here, because then this T would touch it. Can't be here. Can't be here, because that's not a T piece. So that is the T piece. So I need to get a T piece. I need to get a 3-piece for this T. It can't be here. I'm touching another T. I can't be horizontal here. It can't be here, because that's not touching, and it can't be here because that's not part of a T piece. So the only place it can be is in here touching that, and that becomes a T. So this is a 1 and this is a 1. This T now can't go in here, so it must come down, and that means that's the 3 and that's the 1. This T can't come into here now, and it can't come up or it'll be touching another T, so it goes that way, and therefore that's the 3 and that's the 1, and we're broken. So I've missed something here. This can't come up. Yeah, this is wrong. Okay, so I'm sure about this though. No, I can't be this. Whoa, 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 whoa. How does this T fit into the grid? It can't come down. Three, you say? But if it was here, it'd be connecting here, and that doesn't work. So I can't put the 3 verticals there. So where the heck is it getting its 3 from? Hey, Kana, your timing is impeccable. This is going to be the last puzzle before I finish the stream. A stream with no thanks. It's fine. I'm joking. Where does this get its 3 from? The only possibilities are here, which is broken, here, which doesn't form a T, here, which is broken, here, which doesn't form a T. These ones can't. Oh, those ones can. Sorry, I saw this gamma and immediately thought it was... Ah! I saw gamma is... I used the gamma. And now this T is fine. It's got lots of ways of going. But this T can't come down. It must go that way, because if it came down, it would be touching. And then that completes that T. So this is a 1. This is not a T. What about this T? I'm not seeing a restriction on that at all. Except for the fact that if it was that, where would this T go? It would do that, and that's fine. This isn't part of a 1. So this must grow, and it can't be part of a T. So that does that. Right. This can't be a 1, and it can't be part of a T, because there's no way to make this part of a T without doing that, which isolates that. So this does this, and now this T must do that. Now this T is restricted. If I did that, this T would do that, and that T couldn't be completed. So this T must do that. And now we're broken again, aren't we? No, this T could do... No, it can't do that. What are we doing here? I am very confuzzled. Ah, right. Oh my Lord, this is tricky. I'm having trouble spotting this. It could be because it's so late. This T, where does it go? No, we've now got another problem. If it does this, this T can't be completed. If it does this, this T could be completed, but now this one can't. I'm not... The T on this touches this either way. If it does this, it touches this. If it does this, it touches this. Is there any other way of doing it? No, there's not. So these two cells are part of the same T. And I've got the same down here. These two cells are part of the same T. So this cell here cannot be part of a T, which means this is a T, and this is a T, and that is a T, and that is a T. Beautifully done, Butterfly. I mean, this spot, I'm happy I saw that gamma or delta. I'm happy I saw that. But I didn't see this the way you did. That was very clever. So this and that were the key of this puzzle. But with that, I wasn't expecting another 3-hour stream. Considering how tired and mentally blech I've been, I was thinking, you know what, I might play for a little bit and maybe an hour or so. I did want it, but when I looked up and saw that it was after 11 o'clock, it's like, good, I can get this to after 11:30 and have this be the most recent puzzle on the channel for a full day, rather than the absolutely terrible puzzle that came out at 11:30. We do, Butterfly. We do. As does you, me, Keith, Eric. This has been great. I've really enjoyed this one. Thank you, everyone, for jumping in. It has been really, really good having you here. And I hope that you enjoy the fact that I have been doing these on BremSter Puzzles. It's been... I'm really glad I found this game to both increase my puzzle skills. I think this is going to help me with chaos construction and things like yin yang and some of that. Once I'm through the turmoil of my life, I would love to actually explore pencil puzzles more, but I need the right tools to do it. And so far I've struggled with that. This has been so much fun. It's been really good to see you again, J40. I haven't seen you in ages, so welcome back. And to everyone else who jumped in on the stream, and to everyone who's been watching these and leaving comments. I know I've been, like, this is really outside my comfort zone when it comes to puzzles. So please understand that when I'm not seeing something that you think is incredibly obvious, I'm not trying to be annoying. I'm trying to understand better myself. And then I'm trying to slow down and try and figure out not just how the logic works, but how to explain it for people who are also not seeing it. It really does frustrate me when I see, I mean, in like a video game like Diablo or something, which I play over on BremSter Games, I'll absolutely go, oh, it's blah, 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 just bang, 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 bang. Those are not games where someone watching needs to really understand. It's just a thing. Honestly, half of the time I'm playing those games, I don't understand what I'm doing either. But for something like this, if you're watching a puzzle game and you can't see the logic, it just being gone, sure, you can rewind and try and get it, but I want to have people feel like they're can engage with the stream. So I'm going to keep trying to do this. The other puzzle should have dropped on the channel. Let me just quickly check. It should be out. It's just yeah, it's out. Cool. So as soon as I stop this stream, the terrible puzzle that has been out and has already got, I'm assuming, a negative comment. No, just someone saying that it took them 8 minutes to solve it. It took me, I think, 3. You'll understand when you watch the video. If you watch the video, I actually recommend you might want to skip the puzzle. I think the video is interesting, but the puzzle, it's up to you. Thank you everyone for watching. I've really enjoyed the Artisan of Glimmith, and I'm going to have a hectic week. Hopefully I'll be able to record enough puzzles to keep the channel going, but I really wanted to do this because this has been relaxing, particularly with the wonderful company. Thank you everyone. Like, subscribe. You can support me on Ko-fi below. I'm going to do the big thing. You can support me on Ko-fi below. You can also leave a super thanks, but Ko-fi is the better way to do it. You can join me on Patreon, most of my videos, but it doesn't really matter. I'm here to share puzzles with people for free, and I have actually commissioned someone to do a huge cleanup on the channel for me. I'm probably not going to, I'll release some details when they're all available. Thanks everyone. And as always, good luck with your solving. Bye everyone.